it was my own feelings of self-doubt and self-worth. Am I worth this? Am I capable? Do I have what it takes to do business? I don't have an MBA or any experience. I'm like, I felt like I wasn't equipped. And I just kept feeling so bogged down. I think I really just had to push through feelings of, do I have the social butterfly of my Uncle Robert and the money mindset, money management, business smarts of my dad?
Yeah.
And do I have the tuxedo and customer service expertise of my mom? Can I be all three of those people in one? And I was really, I guess, overwhelmed and just didn't feel equipped.
Hey, how are you doing? This is Ronnie Rivera from Rebounds podcast, where the power of the comeback is the most important thing and the story is why we're here. Michelle Bellanova, done.
That's me.
That is your last name.
I know.
I'll be honest with you. I hadn't even thought about your last name.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. You're married now.
Yes.
I have known you since well before you were married.
Yes.
And I will tell our listeners, you're a pretty interesting subject in my life because I have known you since you were in middle school.
What, 12 years old? 13?
You're about 12. I've known your family for a long time, probably just as long, if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll get into how I know your family, but I was your teacher at one time, which is kind of interesting.
It's wild.
But you've crossed my path on so many different levels.
Yes.
And my wife, when I first started this project, she's like, you got to do a couple of your students.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I will. And but I didn't know who. But I wanted to interact with somebody that has a local presence, and you do. But before your last name was done, it was just Bellanova, which you come from the great Italian Bellanova family.
I sure do, yes.
From Randall's Formal Wear.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that your family and you own Randall's here, and
That's
your family
true.
owns the Randalls in Mobile.
In
Is that
Mobile.
correct?
That's correct. People think it's the Randall family, but it's the Bellanova family.
Which is kind of weird, right?
It's
you would
weird.
think you would be, you go get your tuxes from the Bellanova.
From the Bellanovas.
Right. Which would
Yeah.
actually,
be a nice. I've thought about it.
Right.
Do not even guess.
I told your uncle and your father a couple times. What? That's
Bellanovas.
a great. Yeah.
I know.
It just makes sense.
Well, they bought it from a family,
Right.
And the family named it after their son Randall.
Yeah.
And they bought it in the late '70s from the family, and they just kept Randall's because of the goodwill and the name and the reputation.
Yeah, speaking of the reputation, it was down on Palafox Street for a number of years. That's where I first started going, and I'm sure a lot of families went down there to get tuxes.
Right behind the post office, and Pensacola High School.
Our guy, a lot of people don't know, our guy behind the scenes, Lico Crum, does a lot of producing for our show. He did a number of, I guess, formal events in high school. Maybe he went to a lot of proms, is what I hear, 30 or 40 of them. Over
Popular
the
guy.
Yeah. He was a big time dater at a lot of high schools.
Heartbreaker.
If you needed a stand-in for prom, and so he knew a lot about Randall's.
Of
But
course.
anyway, we'll talk a little bit more.
Yes.
First of all, I also want to thank you. You brought me a lucky bamboo.
I sure did.
That
Thank
I will
you.
keep on set.
You're very welcome.
I'll call it a peace plant is what I will,
Yes.
because I need some peace in my life currently. And
You
so,
got it. You've been adorned with some peace.
Absolutely. And so I appreciate that. You were always good to bring things, not an apple. Yeah. You were a great student.
I don't want to come empty-handed.
Yeah,
it just feels good.
Yeah, bring something.
Yeah.
But looking at your resume over the years, you went to the University of West Florida. You graduated with 3.8, psychology, sigma cum laude. Right, that sounds pretty impressive.
Thank
for
you.
those of us that don't go to college, but you did go to college.
I did. Thank you.
I'm teasing you, of course. Also, I find it interesting that you worked as an assistant clerk at the West Florida Public Library.
did.
Just by chance, you were here on a very important week in our life as a family.
Yes.
But I remember running into you at the library,
You
and I said,
did?
"What are you doing
Yes, you were
here?"
working for Chip Simmons' campaign.
I was. We were doing something at the time.
Yes.
And I seen you in there. And I said, "What are you doing working here?" And you said, "I'm working."
I'm working. I'm going to school and I'm working.
And I told you that night, and I mean it today. I was like, "Don't end your life in public
Yeah.
service if you don't
You
have to."
actually said that. I remember that.
Right. It's hard. Public service is a
Yes.
difficult job.
And it's thankless.
It is thankless. You make very little money, and you work till very late in the evening, and you go to work very early. And not that you don't as a business owner. It's just at least at the end of the day, you can say this is my product instead of somebody else's. And I wouldn't discourage anybody from public service, but golly,
It's almost like a rite of passage.
I think so.
Kind of like working in fast food or the mall.
Yeah.
Everybody does it maybe
you-
once.
Yeah, you got to.
You
do
have
it
to.
once.
Yes.
Yeah. But for sure now you are you're the general manager of Randall's Formal Wear,
Yes.
and you are moving and transitioning into the owner role
I am.
of our location here, which I think is pretty incredible. A lot of people may not know that the customer service value that you guys have as a team is amazing.
Thank you. Yes, we are truly fortunate with a wonderful, very competent team of Brandy, my cousin, who is like a second sister to me, as you know.
Yeah.
And Brandon, our newcomer, who's been with us about 2 years. He is rock solid. And then, of course, my mom, who's semi-retired, but we pull her out when we need her, when we're super busy. She doesn't mind helping.
She's got personality plus too. A lot of people that go in, they know her.
And they still remember her after all these years.
Which is crazy. I mean, again, but it's been there. How long have you guys been there as a company?
We're at Pace Boulevard for 35 years.
Good Lord.
I know. And then we've been in Cordova Square for going on, I think this is our 13th year. March makes 13 years.
No way.
Yes.
Already?
13 years, yep.
What made y'all to make the decision to move from Pace to there? I mean, I guess I can see it now.
That's a great question, but it really was just the area wasn't conducive to business anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of crime. We had some run-ins with some bad experiences, getting robbed a couple of times, and just the neighborhood. And we wanted to move on up, and we have a building now where all of our inventory is in stock in the building, upstairs and downstairs. So if you need some crazy coat, I go get it in your size, and I have it within 1 minute.
Which is funny because I have been going to that location for about 13 years as well.
Yeah.
And I was in there just recently for some event. I forget. Maybe it was the Priscus Ball, if I remember correctly. And you said, hold on, I got something upstairs. And I had never noticed in 13 years y'all have an upstairs.
There was an upstairs.
Right?
I know.
And it's clear. I mean, there are stairs, and you just don't. I didn't see it. But nevertheless,
I think they were originally designed for your business to be on the first floor and then you to live upstairs.
Oh, really?
Originally, back when they were built in like the 80s, Cordova Square.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so.
All of those in there? That's pretty
They're
nice.
all 2-story.
That's all very nice. Okay, so welcome to Rebounds Podcast. We love having you here for many reasons.
Thanks for having me.
Not just that you are a sponsor of this, which I think is incredible to have our sponsors on because your message is tied to this so much, and we want to make sure that we keep our branding the same around the community for our sponsors. I know that you guys are very committed to this particular project, and I'm thankful that you're here. But for listeners that may not know you, who is Michelle Bellanova? Done. That's going to be so hard for me to remember because I know you've always been Michelle Bellanova.
I go by both. I get it.
So we'll do that. But what right now? Who are you?
Well, that's a question you could ask someone every year, and they'd have a different answer.
Yeah.
But I like the question. So what I'll say is, I'm someone that does something 100%. I'll put my heart and my whole being into whatever I'm doing in that moment. If I'm here, I'm here with you. I'm not thinking about home. I'm thinking about tomorrow. I'm right here in the present moment. I'm also a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a niece. I'm the future owner of Randall's, which is something I'm having to get used to coming out of my mouth and into my mind.
Right.
It's kind of a new self-concept I've really stepped into.
You say you're here in the moment. I think that at least 2 or 3 people on this podcast have said, which is kind of at the end of it, I said, how do you keep yourself grounded? And many people say, I keep myself in the moment.
Yeah.
Tell me, before I move on, tell me a little bit about that process of keeping yourself in the moment, because that is incredibly hard given social media and transactional relationships and likes and clicks. Tell me a little bit about keeping yourself in the moment.
Yes. Well, every day I do something committed to regulating myself, whether that's art. I really like embroidery. I'm always doing something creative, at least once a day. Meditation, try to do that every day if possible. Physical exercise, doing things that make me feel me. Yeah. Drink a lot of water, eat a lot of vegetables. Just be kind to myself. And that clears my mind, clears my nervous system, clears me for being present in everything I do. It took a long time to get there. I'm not there fully. I mean, surely I have times where I'm worried about something that I'm not looking at face on, but I mean, I'm definitely better now than I ever was in my younger days.
Do you face a lot of anxiety?
It's weird because I'll feel really, really nervous about like a doctor's appointment or something, but then when I get there, I'm flushed with this calm.
Yeah.
And it's like my blood pressure is probably really low.
Yeah.
But inside I might be like, but outside I'm really calm. I don't know, my body just somehow finds a balance. It's really odd.
And you say you stay grounded and you do meditation, you do all those things. And I have asked at least a couple of professionals that come in here because they have, again, this kind of ritualistic things they do in the morning. But certainly, and I'm going to find somebody. You don't do any goat yoga by chance, right? You don't know goat yoga. Okay.
I think I've done it once.
Yeah. See, I knew I would find somebody.
I think it was at Gary's Beer Garden,
there you go,
a long time ago.
Right. And that may have just been a couple goats running around
Maybe.
with a beer.
It might not have been like they weren't
full
climbing on
yoga,
me or
right?
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you've accomplished a lot in your life already. Again, you're fixing to be this. You're walking into the new ownership of Randall's there. But where does life have you right now?
Right now, it has me in a wonderful position where I am taking the reins of an established business that my family has been working towards since the 80s and maintained since the 80s. And now I have the amazing opportunity to make it into something that's my own. Stepping into this new business world with new things I've never experienced before, but allowing it to be something that I create that works for me, that is my twist on something that's a family legacy.
I will. And before we go any further, I want to ask you a question: how this separates you? This is what you would consider a man's business because it is formal wear for men.
For men, I know.
And you come from a long line of men that have ran this company.
I know.
How do you sort of reconcile that in your mind? And do you have to? You probably don't have to.
Well,
but
that's
how
a
does
great
that,
question.
Yeah. How do you?
Well, absolutely. And luckily, we're in the modern world. If this was the 80s when my parents started and I was this young girl saying, I want to do men's tuxes, it might be a little different. But now fast forward to 2026, I still get a little prejudice from men on the daily who think, what do you know? You're young and you're a girl, and you don't know nothing. You don't wear, I still get it. But I just have to navigate it with my own competence and my own experience. I've been there 6 years.
Yeah.
Learned from who I consider the best of the best.
Absolutely.
My mom and my dads.
Yeah.
Robert and Richard.
Right.
So I just have to realize that's just their prejudice. That's on them.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with who I am or my self-concept.
That's wild. I've never even
I
considered
do.
until we sat and started talking.
From people in, I would say, kind of my dad's generation, the older generation, older Southern men, and that's fine. If that's what you want to. And they might not even say it directly, but it's just in their little minute mannerisms or whatever they act.
And I guess for me, and I guess probably for a lot of people that have went to Randall's for a number of years, I think we probably always saw you as the heir apparent because you're the kid anyway.
True.
And so at least for a lot of people that have been around this family for a number of years probably saw you as that person, but I guess some people may not.
Some people assumed it would be my brother, who is 3 years older.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The boy of the family, the boy of an Italian family should take the reins and be the next king or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But no, he did his own thing. My sister did her own thing. She's in Mobile as a nurse, and my brother's in Colorado works for Apple. Completely different things, not related to tuxes at all.
But you always seemed to me to be, from the earliest of times I can remember, and I may have never shared this with you, but I can remember your family coming to open houses and doing those things, and I can remember thinking, this kid's going to take over Randall's with me, and she doesn't know it.
I didn't know it.
So while I certainly appreciate the king of formal wear, there's obviously a queen.
A queen.
Foot.
I think that makes it a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
The fact that it's not a male doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have my dad and my uncle in the shadows at all times, and I will for the rest of time.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's me now.
Yeah.
It's a woman doing it.
What drives you to do the work that you do every day? Because again, you are a quite talented individual, and you could be doing a lot of things for a lot of different people.
I appreciate
but
that.
what drives you to do this work every day?
I think a lot of it is maintaining what they've built, what my family has built, and not wanting to let anyone, I wouldn't say disappointed or let them down, because my family's not like that. You know that. They're not going to be like, oh, you've brought shame to us. Nothing like that.
Sure.
They're mostly, supportive.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I have this little bit of self-pressure on myself with the business. I want to do the best I can. I want to make it the best I can. And that's what drives me every day, is I want to maintain what they've built, but also add on to it to make it the best place in Pensacola. I want it to be the place you come to get your sports jackets, but also the place you come for your wedding tux.
Yeah.
I want to be a one-stop shop for men's fashion.
Do you enjoy dressing people, or do you enjoy making them look good? Is that something you enjoy?
I do.
Why?
I do. It's a weird thing. It's so weird. Like, why do you like that, right? I don't know, because, Chad, my husband, has always been like, dress me, what do you want me to wear? And I'll wear whatever, I want you to make me look good. I'm colorblind or whatever, and I'll get them going. But I mean, I'm not really a fashionista or anything, but I just like making people feel confident, and men, I think, struggle just as much as women with confidence, but it's not really spoken about because they're told to be emotionless or to dampen whatever they feel or not express themselves like women kind of are. So I think when you dress a man in a tux and he feels good about himself, maybe he'll act right in the world.
I certainly believe that when men wear tuxes, they feel better about themselves. And I do agree. It is. I think there is a divide between men and women when it comes to how they feel about how they look. They don't express those things as much.
100%.
Unless you're around me and my friends. Of course, we're very the Andy Hobbses of the world.
Yes, we love Andy.
Yeah,
we
prima
do.
donnas coming the Brian Williams of the world.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right. The Chris Rooney's of the world. These guys.
Brandy calls them her divas.
Exactly.
My divas.
Right. Exactly. I mean,
we love it.
We're trying to outdress each other all the time. But I do think it's important. We certainly teach our kids in the Blazer Academy that when you look good, you feel good, and those types of things.
Pride in your appearance, pride in yourself.
Yeah. It's a lot. When people first meet you, what is something they may not realize about you?
I think I'm actually a lot more introverted than people might assume because my job relies on me to be so engaging and extroverted, and I have to pull things out of people, like, about weddings and about what they need and about their formal wear. I mean, it's very conversational at my job. I'm always on my feet. I'm always talking. I'm always engaging. So when I get home, all I want to do is be on the couch with Chad and the dogs and play a game or whatever. It just decompresses me, and I think my extroversion gets out at the 7-hour workday, and then I go home and I can turn that off.
How did you get there? I can remember you back in school. You did well in oral presentations, but you weren't somebody that openly chatted much.
Right.
You weren't a big chatter. How did this transpire in you?
Yeah, I think a lot of it came with time and age and experience.
Yeah.
Working at the store and at the library too. I mean, I was always talking to patrons and my coworkers who were like my family at the time, and I still love my library people.
Yeah.
But I really think a lot of it just came with practice.
Really?
And just talking to people and getting fitted for a tux is very it's very intimate.
It is.
I mean, I'm wrapping a tape measure around you. Not only that, but like, what if you're going to a funeral or your friend's wedding who you've known for your whole life? Like, these are emotional times for people more than you think. Like first prom, first tux, like that's a big deal. And I'm a part of that. And I get to pull these stories out of people just as I'm fitting them, as I'm putting a jacket on them. They tell me about their grandma who lived to be 97 and, all these wonderful things they experience. And it just helps me open up as they open up. And it's just interesting.
I've never thought about that or considered it until this second.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit before we go any further. I mean, so you have people that come in for obviously an emotional reason, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a funeral, whatever the case is. Yeah. They share those stories.
They do.
Did you realize that at an early age, or did you realize it when you started working there again, or what? How did you realize that this was, which is kind of good because your background's in psychology.
Right. I know. I know. It definitely, I wouldn't have anticipated that starting the job on the first day.
Yeah.
It's something that just evolved over time with people. And then I think as our regulars come in and they see the same face, they feel open up more about new things that are happening in their lives. But I never thought this would be such an intimate job. Like you didn't think about it. No one on the street thinks about it.
No.
It's wild. Like, people on a different level when you fit them for something formal.
Especially a person, I suspect, that may not go get a tux as often as maybe somebody else. If you go in maybe once a year or once or twice in a lifetime.
Exactly.
That must be quite a toll on that individual. I hadn't thought about.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: if your life was a story, let me say this: if your life was a song, what would it be?
A song.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that.
Song's fun.
Yeah.
Here Comes the Sun.
Really?
Yes.
By who?
The Beatles.
Of course.
Of course. By who?
Make sure.
You're like, is this some new song? No, it's the old song.
It's the old one, right? All right. Why?
Because, it's such a happy song. And I consider myself a happy person generally, and I think that song to me is, no matter what you're going through, the sun's always coming out the next day, which might sound hokey or cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
Here comes the sun, no matter what you're doing,
If your life was, or if you had a quote or a motto, or maybe even a mindset, what would that be?
Mindset is everything, isn't it?
That's what the leaders say. I tend to believe it's true.
Me too. I would say, though, my motto would be, one I like that I take to is, how can I serve people today in my life? How can I serve? How can I make today a little bit better for my friends and people around me. Because at the end of the day, we're all here on this earth for some reason, but we can do things to help make their life, your life better, my life better through our interactions. Do things to help other people, and that makes you feel good about yourself. It uplifts them. How can I serve my community, my world, my immediate family, my house, going down to the micro level? How can I serve my world?
How long have you felt that way?
Probably in the last couple of years, just reading a lot of books and podcasts and just evolving.
Yeah.
But it really, you hear things, you're like, I don't really resonate with that. But that, how do I serve people, it hits me and it resonates with me.
Yeah.
How do I make this earth better for other people?
I think it's important. Of course, I think it's incredibly important. Service is I do think it's as close as you will get on this planet to God as you can personally.
Yeah.
That's just me personally.
Oh, I believe that.
I believe service is the most important thing. Anyway, so let me ask you, kind of setting the stage here. I mean, obviously we're here to talk about an opportunity that you learned through a setback and through a rebound process. Tell me about some problem that you had that was extremely important to you.
Yeah. Well, I remember about 2 years ago, me and my mom were carpooling into work together one day, beginning of the year, right after New Year's, the middle of Mardi Gras, January. And we were driving in. We were both very low and solemn for some reason. And I said, Mom, I don't think I can do Randall's. I don't think this is for me. I don't think I can do this. I think I want to close up. I want to just end it all. and I want to end the business, end it all, close the doors. And she's like, why? What's going on? And I just said, I think I need to just move on. I'm not feeling this. Okay, honey, that's fine. We'll work it out. We'll do it. We go into work. We have a normal day. She wants me to sit with it. We're not going to put a close sign on the door today. We're going to sit with this and think about it. It's a big decision. And then 2 hours into the workday, in walks this person who says, are you hiring? And it was Brandon, our newest employee, who's been here 2 years with us. Yeah. And I was like, well, 2 hours ago, we were going to close shop forever.
Right.
And now I have this person who came in the door, who worked at David's Bridal for a number of years, who's been in the wedding industry, who wants to work with me and be like my right hand. And I thought, is that the universe?
Right.
Is that the universe or what?
Yeah.
And then that's when me and my mom were like, well, maybe we need to take advantage of this literal person that just walked through the door and handed us an opportunity to collaborate and make this business what you want it to be. And I did.
That's interesting. I truly did not know that. And often when I sit with guests, I don't know what they're going to tell me, but I am a bit shocked to hear that. So so let's start with this. How long had Randall's been there? How long has Randall's been in Pensacola?
Yeah. Since 1963.
Okay.
But my family's owned it since late 70s.
So you guys have owned it, what, 30? I'm sorry, no, 40 years. 40 years.
Yeah.
40 years.
Crazy.
So you were, let's just say 40 years.
40 plus. 45
years,
sounds right.
45 years. So at the 43-year mark, you say, we're going to close this thing up. What is going on in your mind? Let's start with that first of all.
I know. I think I was just really feeling...
Did you want to do something else? Was there another thing?
You know what?
Or did you... Go ahead.
There wasn't another thing. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going back to school. I wasn't thinking of pursuing a master's. I wasn't any of those aspirations. It was my own feelings of self-doubt and self-worth. Am I worth this? Am I capable? Do I have what it takes to do business? I don't have an MBA or any experience. I'm like, I felt like I wasn't equipped. And I just kept feeling so bogged down, and then talking to my mom about it, my support systems, and Brandy. Yeah. Brandy really was the one who transformed me and my mindset with that, who said, don't make emotional decisions. Yeah. Do not make emotional decisions.
She's big about that.
She is. She was very much like, feel what you feel, sit in your feelings. They're allowed to have feelings, but make sure you take a step back and look at the whole thing before you decide what you're going to do. And I actually live by that motto, that creed as well. And I think I really just had to push through feelings of do I have the social butterfly of my Uncle Robert
Yeah.
and the money mindset, money management, business smarts of my dad?
Yeah.
And do I have the tuxedo and customer service expertise of my mom? Can I be all three of those people in one? And I was really, I guess, overwhelmed and just didn't feel equipped. You know?
Thought you were going to run from it altogether?
I did. I really did. And that would have been the easy thing to do.
Yeah. Before we go any further, Brandy Engel is your person. She's a
Yes.
family member of yours.
She's my cousin.
And oddly enough, I've known her since she was in high school. I went to Escambia, she went to Pine Forest. But later, many years in life, when my mother contracted cancer and passed away, Brandy was very close to me during the process of my mother passing. And so her and I have actually been buds for a number of years outside of just me and you. And so it's your family and I
Another way we overlap.
Absolutely.
Really do.
So now you're sitting in Randall's and you're like, hey, I'm fixing to move on from this process. But you didn't have anything. You weren't going to anything.
I didn't have any. I was just like, I'll do something.
Did you think that Randall's would stay afloat if you moved on? That was going to be a closed door process.
Randall's was going to be the end of it all.
Yeah.
End of the legacy.
You were going to sell it.
We were going to just whatever my dad and Robert wanted to do with the business. They wanted to just leave it vacant or sell the inventory or whatever they wanted to do. But we hadn't even got that far yet. It was more just, I don't want to do this. I'm freaking out. I'm not in this.
Take me back to that moment where you walk in and you say, hey, I'm fixing to close this doors.
I think I felt a lot of, like I said, just not equipped, not worthy, which is really hard to admit when you don't feel worthy of something. It's like, who am I to step into this business that my family has developed for 45 years? Who am I to just come in here and say, this is mine now? Why would I feel like I'm worthy is a hard word, but why am I, entitled to that, I guess.
Entitled.
I guess. I didn't want to
feel. You didn't feel like you earned it. You felt like you didn't earn it.
Yes.
And you felt like everybody in your family had earned it.
Yes.
And you've been given something.
Right. I felt bad. I felt guilt.
You felt guilt.
I did.
I do think it's interesting that you at least identify with the struggles of your family through the building of this business and that you didn't have any sweat equity into it up until that point.
Right.
And you think that you're not worthy or not any of those things. What emotions are I guess we talked a little bit, but what emotions are the strongest during these days? And what led up to this? It couldn't not have been the car ride in.
No, it wasn't the car ride in. It was gradual build up from, I guess.
How long had you been there at this point?
I'd been there 4 years, 4 straight years.
Wow.
And we started during COVID. I mean, you start a business that relies on people getting into close gatherings in the middle of the beginning of a pandemic.
Yeah.
There were weeks we had no orders going out.
Sure.
We didn't have nothing going on because the world was shut down.
Yeah.
But we made it through that. 4 years into that, 2024, I suddenly was maybe I'm done with this. Maybe I need to go just do something different. And it was just this yearning inside myself that I had to just kind of work through, decide if I'm going to act on or push through and move on with Randall's.
How old were you at the time?
I was 28.
How old are you now?
I'm going to be 31 next month.
That's not true.
I know.
That's not true.
That's
that cannot
insane.
be true. I'm only 20-something. That's
That's
wild.
insane. I know.
So you'd been there about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point you said, hey, this is not, we've got some stuff going on inside of me and I don't think that I can pull this off. But the business wasn't failing.
No, we had bounced back from COVID.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it was sustained. It was sustaining itself and then some.
Yeah.
But at the time we didn't really have the staffing. It was me and my mom doing primarily 6 days of work.
Yeah.
And this was before Brandy joined us in Pensacola. So we felt a little bogged down, but then she finally came on board and that helped morale as well. Just not feeling so like everything's on me, everything's on us. It was we can share the load.
So you're there for 4 years and there's kind of this gradual building. Over how long do you think that this building is kind of transpiring before you blow steam a little bit, if you will?
Yeah, I'd say a few months. Like it wasn't overnight. It was a few months of maybe some unpleasant interactions, with work, or maybe it was just some financials that, oh my God, this bill was really high. How are we going to get through this? These things like that. And just some tiny things that just accumulated over time.
Were you married at the time?
Mm-hmm. We were married.
Were you telling your husband?
Oh, yes. Chad talked me off a cliff several times. He was actually the reason that I went into the family business after I got restless at the library.
Yeah.
And told him I don't want to do the library forever.
Yeah.
I could advance through the county system and do wonderful things with the county like you've done, or I could do something else. And Chad said, "What about the family business?" And I had, for the longest time, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my own thing, make my own path.
Yeah.
You know, because I want to be a pioneer of my own future like we all do. But he was like, "You've got this amazing opportunity. At least try it." And he was right.
I think it's interesting. Younger people, I obviously have a younger daughter in her early 20s that is set on carving her own path in Pensacola, and it is challenged because I have carved a path in Pensacola, and so she's trying to figure out ways to work around that. That being said, I think she is at least coming to terms with networking in the same avenues that I do may be as important. So we'll see how that turns out.
Absolutely.
But you're at this point in your life, you've been there 4 years already, and you kind of find some angst thinking about leaving. Take me to the moment where you finally walk in that morning and you say, what transpired? I mean, what transpired the night before, the week before? You get in the car finally that day and you drive in and you tell your mom, hey,
I'm done.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
You know, I wish I could pinpoint to a specific moment, but it was really just an accumulation of over time. You know, it's an underwhelming answer, but it was really just not feeling it, not knowing if I'm capable.
When you said the words out of your mouth, how did you feel?
Terrible. I thought, oh my gosh, they're gonna if I'm not here doing this, then they're gonna close shop, and that's the end of it all. It's the end of the Pensacola store.
And it's hard to put the genie back in the bottle, but now you've said this out loud, and now you feel terrible about that.
I do.
So you feel terrible about being there because you kind of inherited this gold mine.
Right. Yeah.
And this service that Pensacola has been with for so many years, but now you feel terrible about saying it as well out
exactly.
loud. Tell me a little bit about that.
It was definitely in a whirlwind of emotions at the time. You know, it's like I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. That's always my thing. I want to be grateful for every opportunity, everything. Live with gratitude no matter what you're doing, right? But I also don't want to be, I don't want to be entitled to it. Yeah. So I guess I wanted to make it my own in my own way and find my way to do that.
There's a line in one of those John Mayer songs about this midlife crisis for people in their 20s. And I think...
quarter life.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you're kind of there. You know what I mean? You kind of hit this quarter life crisis, and it's real.
Career is always a big thing when you're in your 20s. I mean... Yeah. That's why Chad always says, wait till you're in your 30s. It'll be so much better. Right. You're so much more settled.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
Yeah.
So take me back to that time, though, the people around you. Tell me a little bit more about, at least, let's start with your mom.
Yeah.
That morning.
Yeah.
She says, give it a little bit of time.
Yeah. She was very much like, whoa, slow your horses.
She's shocked?
She was, you know.
Had you telegraphed that to her to begin with?
I think I had.
Okay.
I think I had. I mean, me and my mom are very close.
Obviously, yeah.
Absolutely.
Great woman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very close. And she knows me in and out, and she could tell when I'm feeling off.
Yeah.
And she could feel it coming.
Yeah.
And she has been through this too. She's been there 30 plus years. She's had moments where she's like, do I want to do this a job? This is crazy. I mean, we all have after being there for so long.
Yeah.
But she was very much supportive and just like, slow down, think about it. But I understand if you want to close the doors, we will close the doors. Like they have never pressured me. Mm-hmm. And I love that about them, my family. They've never said, if you're not doing this, you know, the whole world's going to crash down. It's very much like, you're doing this, you know, which is great, but you're doing it for you too.
I think it's hard. It may be hard, and I'm not sure, but it feels like it's hard. You have this brand, Randall's Formal Wear, which is an icon in our community.
Thank you.
And you are involved in it in a process, and you don't understand, at the time, you don't understand what this icon looks like to Pensacola.
Right. Because
you're internal every day. You're just slinging out tuxedos.
Exactly.
And you don't understand
you're too in it.
Yeah.
You didn't I needed to take a step back and see the whole picture.
What was the biggest part about admitting that you had a struggle for at least longing to know what something else looked like other than where you were? What was the hardest part of that struggle?
I think feeling like I had let myself down. I think for the longest time I thought I was the kind of person that never saw things through or that lost passion or interest halfway through a project. You know, I mean, I started 2 different master's degrees and never finished them.
Really?
Yes.
What in?
I started one in Master of Public Health at UWF, And then I started another in Masters of Mental Health Counseling, licensed mental health counselor through psychology.
Tell us here first, which one are you going to complete?
Now you're going to hold me to it, huh?
I am.
I probably should finish the public health one because I could do a lot with that.
What are you going to do? See, you're already planning. I'm already planning. Right. What can I do?
Me.
Right.
You're inspiring me,
I
Ron.
think you certainly should do an MBA. You're a business owner.
That would make more sense, right?
It makes more sense.
Robert always says I should go back to school and finish a master's.
You should. You're a smart individual. If nothing else, you'll do it for yourself.
That's
and one
right.
day you'll have it.
That's something no one can take from me.
Ever.
I feel that way about my bachelor's. That's mine. I got that.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, what lessons took the longest to learn during this struggle or during this process?
I would say not making emotional decisions. Because,
Really?
and I think that came with maturity and time. The business, being involved in this business really kind of propelled my maturity. I started when I was 25, just married, middle of COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on. And I think it propelled me into who I am today and who I'll probably become. But not making emotional decisions, I think, took me a long time because I was still in that mindset of, well, I'm young. I can do whatever I want.
Sure.
If I blow this up, it's okay. I can start a new chapter. But I don't want to burn any bridges. I don't want to close any doors. I want to leave it all open because you never know.
Have you been one to make rash decisions like this previously?
No.
Have you burnt bridges
No,
down?
I mean, I didn't finish those 2 masters, and I think about that sometimes. Like, if I ever wanted to go back, how would that process be? And
Why did you leave those programs? Which one did you start first?
I started the Masters of Licensed Mental Health Counseling first
Why'd you leave out?
because I realized I didn't want anyone else's burdens but my own and my own family's.
Oddly enough,
Which
though.
sounds terrible.
Yeah, it does sound terrible, but I get it too. But those are the same people that come in and rent those tuxes, by the way. The one that are already giving you the problems. So God's kind of put you in that place no matter what happened.
Absolutely.
So you transition from that to Master's Public
Public
Health.
health, yes, because I was going to do nutrition. I wanted to do prenatal nutrition for pregnant women and who can have, healthy, happy babies is what I was interested in.
You feel like being a business owner is not nearly as important as giving service to those in need.
Maybe so.
But truly, you've already given lots of service to individuals, but like we talked about, you've got people coming in to do
That's true.
long-term planning and funerals and those kind of things.
You really nailed it. Yeah.
Let's kind of move to kind of the turning point a little bit. By the way, so hold on. Before we go any further, when you left the Master's in Public Health, where were you at in your life? Were you at the library or were you just going to Randall's at the time?
I was at the library.
You were still at the library then?
Yes.
And then you started to say, hey, there's got to be something more. Yeah, that quarter-life crisis got you going on, that's for sure.
It really did. If I didn't have the support of my family and Chad, I don't know who I'd be today.
How'd you meet your husband?
We met through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
Her going away party downtown Pensacola.
Yeah.
A couple of our friends got together and sent her off. She was moving to Missouri or somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think she's there anymore. And we kind of just kept making, eyes at one another from across the bar or wherever we were. And towards the end of the night, he introduced himself. And then next thing I knew, a couple of days later, I had a Facebook friend request. I never checked Facebook.
Sure.
And it was like days ago, and I had accepted it. And then he messaged me. Never checked the messages. It like weeks went by. And I saw it, and I said, oh, I'm sorry. I just replied to this. Hi, how are you? And then we went on some dates, and now it's been almost 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He's wonderful.
Apparently. So let me ask you kind of this turning point. We kind of sort of thinking about what sparked the shift from your struggle to kind of the process of progressing through thinking that, I might want to stay here. Obviously, you said somebody comes in.
Yes. So our new employee Brandon came in out of nowhere, and I think him entering and him being so qualified and his energy and his spark of life reminded me, I'm capable of training someone. I do know this job. I'm going to teach him the ways of how I want things to be done, like a manager, like an owner would do.
Yeah.
My mom said, well, this guy's great. After a couple weeks, this guy is wonderful. I'm going to let him take my schedule, and I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
And I said, good for you, girl.
Yeah.
And it was me, him, and Brandy, three of us. And it's been 3 of us for 2 solid years. And I think I stepped into that role as manager, as owner, when I had to train him in the ways that I wanted things to be done. And I realized I'm doing it, in my way.
Yeah.
And this is my turn to make this business my own.
Was that the first time you had a buy-in in your mind as soon as you started training somebody?
I think so.
So
I had skin in the game in
Yeah.
a way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So you're 5 years into this at this point, and you're
Four.
4 years into it at this point, and he walks in, and you're like, oh well, at least I got to train you, no matter what happens. I got to train
let's see
you.
how this goes.
Yeah, and then once you start training him, you're like, oh, hold on.
I'm confident. I'm competent. I can do this. I'm. You know, they say when you teach, you know this. When you teach, you learn more.
Absolutely.
You learn your trade more when you're teaching things.
Yeah.
And so I felt myself learning, teaching the ins and outs of how things fit, of how things are done. And then I'm like, damn, I know my stuff. You know.
Was there a conversation once he got there? I mean, I don't think that it didn't spark the day of.
No, I mean, I was taken to him. I just liked him immediately, and I wanted to hire him on the spot.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've never hired anyone before. My mom has over decades of doing this. My parents have. My Robert has. But let me, again, don't make emotional decisions. Let me sit on this. I had to do the right thing. We called his references. We took a day or two. We called him up. Hired 2 days later, he joins our team and just seamlessly integrates. And it's been wonderful ever since. And I think he breathed new energy into the store and into me. And it, like I said, it just helped me kind of get re-inspired, you know, and now we're a team and we have great ideas together. We bounce things off of one another, and he's got that nice inspired energy, you know, and it just came out of nowhere. I tell him all the time, you're an angel that fell from heaven. I'm like, who are you?
So once it kind of started moving forward, was there a particular incident that you remember maybe working with him or working or driving home or driving to work and thinking, oh man, I'm going to do this. I can do this. This is obviously something I can do because I enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah. I think just the feeling of like passing on my knowledge sounds silly, but I mean, it was like training someone and saying, I'm capable of this. Now you're capable of this because of what I taught you.
Yeah.
Instilled in me a new level of confidence that I've never had before, because I never trained anyone before. At my own business, you know? So it was like a whole new role, whole new identity.
When he showed up, what was the greatest part of him showing up besides that ability to train? When he walked in and during that process of training, what did he bring to the table that you're like, oh yeah, man?
Yeah, I mean, he's got great ideas, and I mean, he's a do-it-yourselfer.
Yeah.
I mean, he fixed all the lights. He was like, man, it's really dark in this store. Let's put new ballasts up, and let's fix the electrical, and let's make it brighter, and let's put curtains. I mean, he's got these wonderful ideas.
Yeah.
And he's always doing something to better the store, and that makes me feel like it's valued. I value it. But now seeing someone else who's not in the family, but he's like a family member now after all this time. But he values it just as much as he would as if it was his own family's business, and that made me feel really, really happy to see.
Certainly you guys have had other employees at Randall's, maybe not, that were external to the family. It obviously is a family business, but I've never thought about this as a family business. Have there been others through the time, and maybe not with you, but...
Not with me, I mean, in our Mobile location, we had several longtime employees who were not family, but had been with us 20 plus years that they just found through however they found them 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And we've had cousins who come in and help when we're super busy, wash shirts or things like that, answer the phone. But from my time there, it's just been my family, and then now Brandon.
So he walks in, and the first kind of guy that you get to hire. You do the references.
Yeah, I did it the real way.
You train him. You have all these things. Is there something in that portion, maybe faith or a mindset that you had during the process that thought, yeah, I can do this?
Yeah, I think it was a moment of peace.
Really?
Yeah, and feeling like, wow, like we're in good hands.
Really?
I really felt that way. When Brandy liked him immediately, when my mom liked him immediately, when I took to him immediately, it was just like, it's exactly what we needed. 2 hours after I was going to close the doors.
Right.
I mean, it was kismet.
Yeah.
And I think that powered it a little bit as well, that it came in on the heels of something so emotional and turned into something so positive.
It's wild to think that this staple of Pensacola is 2 hours away from closing its doors.
Right.
For very little reason other than a whim.
Other than,
Right. And this gentleman walks in and says, "Hey, let's think about this."
You know,
and your
and
family
true.
thinks about, yeah.
And that tells me it wasn't truly a thought. It was just a fleeting feeling that
Yeah.
I was going to act on. And I'm so glad I didn't.
How did this confidence rebuilding look for you? How during this uncertain time? How did you? Because obviously you were not confident being the business owner of Randall's Formal Wear.
Yeah.
But how did this confidence? How did this individual come in and start building the confidence in you and in the business?
Yeah, I think just his abilities and his way with customers inspired me. And just like I said, the way that everyone took to him and the way he's so good with people and he just fits right in with our culture and our little knit group of people who work there. It was just perfect.
But your confidence, how did you build your confidence?
My
through
confidence,
this? Yeah.
I think with the way he made me feel like I could do this, like he just makes me, it sounds like a love story, but
business love stories are often that way.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, it's true. He just makes me feel like I got this. He gives me confidence. He's like, if you don't have it, I'll help you get there.
Yeah.
If you don't want to deal with that angry customer, if you don't want to take that weird phone call, I got you, girl. Or I'll help you through it, or I'll give you some ideas on how we can do it together.
I think it is so important you bring that up. I think it's so important. Sometimes we in society face naysayers. Mm-hmm. And it is often very important to have a support system around you to tell people, hey, I can do this.
Right.
I'm
Absolutely.
qualified. I am the best possible person to do this. And so it takes a group of people sometimes to give you that confidence. Mm-hmm. And it is hard. It is very hard.
Yeah.
So he kind of rebuilt a little bit in you.
I did. And it just happened in the most least unexpected way. And I think that's what made it so profound.
What point were you like, hey, I'm just not the same person I was on that morning that I wanted to close the doors?
Yeah, exactly. I think over time, with my ability to make another employee shine and how he makes me shine, we have a collaborative, all three of us, Brandy, Brandon, and me, the three of us just make each other better.
Yeah.
I think that just really resonated.
How did this look like for you emotionally?
Took a lot of behind the scenes, at home crying with Chad. No, what am I doing? Like, is this really a thing? Am I really capable of this?
When you go home, let me ask, so when you go home to your husband and you meet this guy on day one, what do you say when you walk in the door to your husband?
I said, Chad, we met the perfect employee.
What did he say?
He's like, no way. He's like, how? How'd this happen? And I told him, I used my line, you're a literal angel that fell from heaven. Yeah. Because he is. Yeah. And he goes, David, he worked at David's Bridal. Like, he knows the crazy brides and the wedding industry. How did this happen? And he was excited. Yeah. And then Chad met him, and of course they're buddies. So everything just aligned. It was... The universe is that's the only word I can use to explain it. Universe.
I say this probably on every single podcast. I'll probably say it for a long time. I've got a person that I love to listen to, a guy named Rich Roll, and he is a podcaster, and he says, when you step out, the universe, if you step out in love, the universe will support you in the process. And so I think that's kind of where we're at with this.
Love that.
Were there small wins along the way that kind of gave you the momentum to start making sure that you were going to keep the doors open of Randall's?
When I was feeling shaky confidence, I think my dad intuitively knew that he had to give me something in terms of seeing my future at Randall's. Yeah. And so him and Robert made me the treasurer and kind of, in a roundabout way, co-owner, because I make a lot of the business decisions as well, and in collaboration with them.
Sure.
They're 60%, I'm 40% maybe, I would say. But being treasurer and seeing the checking account, seeing the money coming in and out, and seeing how the process is truly, gave me the ability, like, okay, I understand the business in a different way than I ever did before in the 4 years I'd been there.
Because at the time you were not an associate, you were a manager. You were kind of growing into this.
I think my role at the time was employee. I just worked for my family. But then when I was training Brandon, when I became treasurer, when I'm on the checkbook, I can write checks. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm a leader. I'm decision maker. I'm a manager. I'm part owner. I have stake in this. Yeah. And that really helped me feel better about my future in Randall's. Like I could see it. I could taste it.
The next question is, was there a breakthrough or a moment that you felt like I'm back? But
That's
I don't know that you ever felt like you were there to begin with.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So, but over time, I think I'll get there.
What strengths did you discover about yourself during this process?
I think that if I truly want something, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
And maybe those master's degrees that I tried and didn't finish, I didn't truly want.
Yeah.
And maybe that, how do you know what you truly want? You know what you truly don't want. If it's a hard no, it's a no.
Let me ask you this question. It's not scripted. Are you a business leader?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Because I know what's best for the business because I know the ins and outs.
Mm-hmm.
I see it, I know what not to do for the business. I know what it needs,
How did this change how you see yourself? Or even better, how others see you?
Yeah. I think I grew a level of self-reliance that I never had before.
Really?
Yeah. Like I can rely on myself to pull myself through those weird, fleeting, I'm not capable of this moments. And then I can allow myself to step into a role as manager and leader and owner.
How long have you felt this way about yourself? How long have you felt like you could not accomplish a task like this? Because I'm really shocked to hear this.
Really?
You're incredibly bright.
Well, thank you.
And you were at University of West Florida, and you probably have had the ability to do many things, but apparently you're struggling with this, or we're struggling with this.
Yeah. I mean, I would say since I didn't finish those master's degrees, I think I lost some part of myself.
Really?
I really do.
Yeah.
Just like I said, do I lose passion? Do I lose interest halfway through? I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
And now that I didn't close the doors of Randall's 2 years ago, I feel like I have a new level of confidence, a new level of self-trust because I pushed through and I made it better than it ever was because of that.
Let me ask you a question because I'm very interested in this. Did you not think it was a cool job? Is that maybe part of what you're doing? I mean, I've known you forever and I've known your family. Did you just not think it was a cool job? Is that what it is?
My brother, God love him, he would text me, oh, it must be so cool to work with mom and uncles.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? It is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool because I can make my own rules.
Yeah.
Make my own schedule. I can say, you need to get out.
Yeah.
I don't like the way you spoke to me.
Yeah.
Or I can make, everything is reliant upon what I want to do in the business. And I don't think I could do that if I worked for anyone else.
Yeah.
And, I think that's something I couldn't really walk away from those two years ago when I felt that uncertainty was, wait, I'm the boss. I can make decisions for the business and for my life through the company, through the Randalls.
What are you the most proudest of today?
I think pushing through and not closing the doors and realizing that I have the ability to push through these negative emotions and to see myself in a new way and to open up to people. Hey, I'm kind of struggling. Hey, I feel like I'm failing. Hey, can you help me? I think I'm really down. I think I'm going to make a bad decision.
Let me ask you a question here, just kind of thinking about it. Yeah, you've got your family to bounce ideas off of, but did you have anybody else in the business world, maybe any kind of mentor or anybody that poured into you as a business leader and said, hey, these are kind of things that I've seen in my past? I cannot imagine that there aren't other people in the community that have owned businesses that thought, man, I'm ready to walk away with this thing.
Right. I'm sure.
Chris Rooney and I talked about it in one of his in his interview, and there's a couple of times where he thought, man, I don't know about this, but he kept persevering. But
Exactly.
Did you have anybody to do that with you?
No, I really didn't. I didn't. And I mean, my family has seen a lot through Randall's over the 45 years,
right.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever wanted to close the doors.
Yeah.
This is just what they did. This is how they made their livelihood.
Sure.
It's their identity wrapped up in Randall's.
I think parents, I think kids often see parents as somebody that just sticks to the process.
Yeah.
And they've wasted their lives doing it.
Right.
I think that's the discussion. Yeah.
It's interesting because their generation and generations after them, you have a job, you work a job for 40, 50 years.
That's right.
Our generation, me and Chad's, we have several jobs.
Absolutely.
And it's different.
Absolutely.
And they know they can't run the business like they did in 1993.
Sure.
They have to run it like it's 2026.
Right.
And I've kind of brought us to the forefront of the modern world. I mean, I have people come in, can I look like this? And it's some AI generated photo. And that's something my dad and uncle would never have dreamed would happen. You know?
Ever.
So it's all these new navigations you have to make.
Fascinating.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because people are bringing in all these AI pictures, and it's hard to make them look like an AI-generated cartoon, right? Yeah,
that is AI.
Yeah. What do people often misunderstand or mistake about going through some sort of process like this and getting to the other side of it?
Yeah, I would say it doesn't make you a failure.
Yeah,
it does not make you a failure. You can go through things, you can feel bad about yourself, but that doesn't define you. You got through it. I think it matters most what you do after the fact. You know, how do you respond to that? That's what the impact will be.
What doors opened because of this process that you went through? What doors opened, or what kind of changed in that shift for you?
Yeah, I realized I had to do the business my way. I had to make it work for me. I had to evolve it. I had to take it into the 21st century a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I was no longer an employee. I was in the forefront. So now I've got us selling suits more than we've ever sold before. I've got 22 colors I can get for you. It's all suit colors. I've got tuxes. I'm doing things we've never done before to breathe new life into it.
Yeah, somebody recently told me that you were selling jackets, and you said something originally as you sat down, you're selling suits and jackets. And that is something that Randall's is really not known for.
I know. We're
They're
mostly
known for rental.
And that's where I'm trying to kind of take us, and we can do both. I want to be that one-stop shop.
Really?
You know, I want to, like I said, you come get your blazers and you come get your tuxes.
If you could speak to your younger self during this process, what would you say?
I think I would say, don't give up. Power through. You'll be fine. You have, you know, all the support, all the tools you could possibly need to succeed. You'll be fine. You know, I would just reassure myself, look her in the eye, say you're going to be okay. Take a deep breath. Do not make impulsive emotional decisions. You'll be all right.
Are you still not connected to business professionals in this community? Are you still a bit isolated as a business owner?
You know,
because many business owners often find solace in networking with each other. Where are you at with that process?
I really haven't done much networking.
Because there's not a lot of you.
You know, it's such a niche, but the wedding industry is large here in Pensacola. I mean, it's not just tuxes, it's the whole industry.
Yeah.
And the networking I've done, I mean, has been helpful. Like, I mean, if you need a wedding venue, I know who to call for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's I think I could do more. But I think I'm also still in the early stages of it now that I've stepped into this identity as the owner, as the leader. You know,
how has success evolved for you during this process?
I think when I was younger, success used to be based on the approval of others, but now it's how do I feel about what I've done. At the end of the week at Randall's, when I look back at the customers and the events and the things that took place, I reflect and I think, do I feel good about this week? Just this 1 week? Yeah, I do. Then that's a success to me. Do I feel good about the month? Do I feel good about the weddings we did, about the Mardi Gras we did, about the proms? Yeah, I do. Or no, things could have been different. I'll learn from that, evolve, take it with me to the next week. You know, but it's no longer relying upon someone else's stamp of approval. You know, I don't need my parents to say, good job, honey, you did great this week. You know, everything looked good. You made a lot of whatever money or whatever it is. I don't need that. It's nice to have, and I'll take it. It feels good. But I think I put more stock in it when it's my own feeling of success in the moment. Like if I feel good about what we've done and who we've connected with and who we've made happy at work, then I'll feel better.
Do you have a lot of those weeks?
Yeah, I do.
Building on some success there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like if we've collaborated with local photographers for a styled photo shoot, which we've done several times, or collaborated with Dare Bridal across the street about borrowing a tux for some photo shoot they want to do, I feel great about that. If we have a really happy groom who had the best wedding in the world, thank you so much. I mean, that doesn't just, that hits hard. That's like, thank you. I feel that. You know, you're not going to get that when you buy on Amazon or whatever. You know, that's part of the family aspect, I think, hits hard at home for me and for our customers, you know.
I do think that, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, I mean, I think that men often under discuss how they feel when they are dressed up one way or another. And oftentimes they're like, I don't want to wear a tux.
Right.
I don't look good in a tux.
Yes.
But if it's fitted very well, you look incredible. It's impeccable.
Yes.
And so it takes that type of customer relation or customer service to make sure that the man is fitted correctly.
Absolutely.
And then there's no two ways about it.
Yes,
Yeah, you get that.
Absolutely we do. And there's so many, and because we know the ins and outs, we have several different ways that things can fit. I can put you in something not as fitted or more fitted.
Yeah.
Depends on your preferences, and I'll make it happen for you.
We talked a little bit about the rituals every day that you do. Let's talk a little bit more about those. What time do you guys open? Let's start with that.
Yeah, we open at 10.
So what does your mornings look like? And there's no goat yoga there.
No
Apparently,
goat
that's
yoga.
what I've heard.
Yes.
So, but tell me a little bit about what keeps you grounded. Do you have a morning schedule?
Yes,
Or,
we do. Me and Chad wake up around 7.
Yeah.
Let the dogs out, have our coffee and breakfast on the couch with each other.
Nice.
Debrief what's going on with your day. What's going on with your day? What are we doing for dinner?
Yeah.
These little conversations I'm sure you have with Crystal.
Sure.
Touch base on how we're feeling that morning. Look at the news, whatever. I go do some kind of workout, some kind of physical something to clear my head. Might journal, might meditate, whatever I have time for. And then 9:45, I'm on the road, opening the door at 10, and I just do my thing at work.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What piece of advice have you ever received that has been the best piece of advice for you? As let's start as a person that's running a business.
Yeah. So I think it would be, my mom always said, no matter what you do, time is going to move forward anyway.
Yeah.
So how would your future self in business or in personal life look back at your current self? What would she say to you? You know, she kind of helps me frame that way. You know, my current self this week would say, oh, I'm feeling really good about the weddings we did. And my future self would say, I'm feeling really good that you did those good weddings.
Yeah.
You know, kind of reflecting back. But time's going to go by no matter how you spend it, she would say. So might as well make today a really good day so tomorrow can be a really good day, and you can build on that.
I'll ask you another question about this. What's the best piece of advice you ever got when you were just an employee there?
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Every phone call is a $100 bill.
Nice.
My dad.
Really?
Every phone call, get them in the door. If they need a purple shirt, you don't have one,
Get them in the door.
say I'll get something purple for you.
Right, exactly.
Whether it be a vest or a bow tie or something, get them in the door. Every phone call is a $100 bill.
That's amazing.
And that sticks with me too.
I bet it does. That's pretty impressive. I like that.
See, he's the money guy.
He
and
is absolutely the money
it
guy.
helps.
Yeah, absolutely. If your story was a lesson plan, what would that lesson plan be?
I would say something like lessons in finding an unexpected passion.
Nice.
Yeah, because, you know, if you would have told my 18, 17-year-old self that I'll be doing Randalls when I'm 31, how old I am,
Yeah, exactly.
she would say, no way. But through Randalls, I did find that I'm good at it. I have fun with it. I have fun with people. I feel fulfillment from it, and unexpectedly.
What did you want to do at 18?
18,
What did you think you wanted to do?
I wanted to be a personal trainer, nutritionist.
Really?
Yeah. I wanted to train people and how to be their best, healthiest selves in the gym and in their what they eat and everything.
What do people often get wrong about bouncing back or coming back?
Coming back, yeah. That they take for granted mindset. We touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
If you keep telling yourself, I don't have this, I'm not worthy, I'm not feeling this, I'm not good enough, you will eventually embody that and walk around with that. But if you tell yourself and you train yourself, you rewire yourself, I am capable, I'm worthy, I've got this, I'm able to do the things that I tell people I'm going to do, make it happen for yourself. I think that gets overlooked.
I think it's hard too, isn't it? You have to continually pour into yourself.
Oh, it's not just something you do once. It's every day, every hour. Push through those feelings of doubt, uncertainty. I mean, it's hard.
Why do you think it's so hard? Because there's so much negativity in the world pushing towards you?
Probably. Anxieties everywhere. And there's always so many paths you could take. I mean, I could be a mental health counselor. I want to be talking to you today if I was.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many paths in life, and I think that overwhelms people, of course.
I think sometimes we measure who we are based on social media. And oftentimes what we're seeing on social media is just the pictures that turned out.
Of course. The highlights.
Yeah. I mean, I think that everybody should know. Maybe it's not true, but I think everybody takes, 4, 5, 10 pictures or whatever till you find that perfect one you want to post. And that captures that moment.
Right.
Even though there were many
Yes.
variations of that didn't turn out.
No, you don't see the not so pretty pictures.
Never.
But those are the ones you learn the most from.
Yeah, I think so too. What would you say to someone that is listening right now that feels stuck in their own issue, setback, or whatever that may be?
I would say to them, if they push through, they will find a new level of confidence and self-trust than they've ever known. If they prove to themselves that they're not going to just be defined by this setback or be defined by whatever failure they've seen or defined for themselves, if you push through that, you will discover a whole new level of calm and self-peace and self-trust that you've never experienced. And that's what I discovered.
I want you to, and I've never asked any of my guests to do this, but I want you to as you are right now,
Okay.
I want you to think of that person that walked into that shop that thought that you were going to close a 45-year icon in our community. And I want you to, as that person is unlocking the door, I want you to look at that girl and I want you to say today what you needed to hear that moment, that day.
You're going to make me cry. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Yes. I would say...
It's okay.
I think I would say... Don't let yourself down. Don't put this as another thing you tried and stopped. Which sounds sad, but it's true. And I'm the kind of person that needs that kick in the pants sometimes.
Yeah.
I would say don't do that. You've tried and stopped so many things, but this thing you can do. You've got every possible advantage here.
I had the pleasure and often have the pleasure to teach in the Blazer Academy for the Sheriff's Office. And just last night, it's funny, we were going around the room at the end there and we were asking the boys, it was a pretty simple question, what does it take to be a gentleman? And we got to the end of the line and there was two from the last and this kid said, I don't know. And then he passed the microphone and I just could not let it go. And I stood up and I said, don't give up on yourself. And that's the answer you just gave. Don't give up on yourself.
Love that.
There's just so much more of you to give.
Yes.
And it's so early.
Yes, and prove to yourself, because you'll discover new things about yourself that you've never knew were there as you push through these things.
Don't give up
Don't
on
give
yourself.
up.
Last question, as we fade out from this wonderful interview, I want to thank you,
Thank
for your
you.
time and for your care for the Rebounds podcast. I think it's
Absolutely.
incredibly important to be connected with like-minded businesses across our community. What is your personal definition of a comeback?
Yeah. I would say learning from your past, but not letting the past define you. Like knowing every decision you made in your life has led you to this moment. Everything you did today led you to being here with me right now. Yeah. Even the failures, maybe you whatever you did this morning that didn't align with what you needed to do led you to right now. In the micro and the daily and in the macro, in the whole life, all of it leads you to where you are. So I would say don't let one mistake or one setback define your whole life, because it's just a redirection. It's not something that's permanent. It's not a part of you. It's just something that you went through.
Yeah. Michelle Bellanova Dunn. Thank you for joining Rebounds Podcast.
Thank you.
The princess of the business world, and certainly the princess of men's fashion in Pensacola.
Well, thank you. We appreciate
Thank you for the plant.
Absolutely.
Look forward to having you and your family on soon.
Yes, definitely.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks for listening to Rebounds Podcast with Ronnie Rivera. If you have an opportunity, please review our show notes and support our sponsors, Blush and Needle Society, Meredith Bush Law Firm, Randall's Formal Wear, Youths Left Behind. Also, please support us on our social media platforms, Instagram and YouTube. We'll see you next time on Rebounds Podcast.